Hello guys, gals, I'm back again for another video. It's been a long time since I've done one of these ranting videos where I sort of just, talk about things that I have on my mind. And so I'm gonna do one. I haven't done one for a while, but here's how it's gonna go. You have an ego, and I do too. And egos are important. Egos are something that lead to self-assurance and confidence. Without an ego, without the ability to believe that you are correct, it is unable for you to grow. It is unable for you to learn because you need to master certain skills and talents. And you must be self-assured in these certain skills and talents. Otherwise, what happens is you have a person who could have high skill, high talent, but yet zero ego. And that's very unfortunate, and that's a problem. But when you look at all the top athletes, all the top people, they all have some kind of ego. They're not like, it was nothing. They're like, wow, I won. That's what they're like. They're always like, wow, I won. I'm better. And think about it. These people naturally have to think that they're better than other people. Because when you're going against someone, you got to consider all of this. And maybe, you're not the best soccer player, and you're going against the best team in the world. And in your head, you know that they're the best team in the world, and you know that you probably don't stand a chance. But yet, your ego is going to sit back and tell you it's going to be fine. Work hard. And so it's a very good self-regulating feeling that enables for you to right itself and keep working on the things you actually need to be working on. Because without an ego and without self-assurance, you would not have the ability to keep doing something as proficiently as you could. You would say, well, I did this wrong. And having ego basically means that you can mess up a few things, but even if you mess up a few things, you still know what you're talking about. You still know what you're doing. It's just you messed up, you misspoke, you did the trick wrong, but eventually you become an expert. You have it nailed to the wall. It's not going anywhere. And so that is very important skill to have, and to have an ego. And I'll tell you, you can have too little ego, or you can have too much ego. And too much ego is just the person in the back of the room basically screaming, we're gonna win. Okay? They're the person in the back of the room when everybody else is pinned down and fighting and scared, who says, I will be fine. And so it helps you a lot in perseverance. And too much ego, especially in certain industries such as designing, creating, and testing things, it's very important to let your ego go when you have others analyzing your work, because your job could be at stake. You could lose your credentials. You could lose everything just because you had too much of an ego. And so you gotta have an ego when you're designing that, but you also have to have the willingness to turn it off. So I'll tell you, there are certain times in life in which you're gonna want to turn off your ego and simply work on something else. Okay? Now, I could turn off my ego. I could say, I'm wrong. I'm doing it wrong. And listen to someone because they know how to do it correctly. And so you should listen to them. You should listen to them. Think about it. It makes sense. You don't listen to some guy on the road talk about something, but you sure as heck will listen to a professor talk about something, because he has that confidence, he has that aura, he has that credentials. And how he got those credentials was through his ego, through his self-assuredness in his tests. He had to take tests to get where he was. And he had to be self-assured on those answers. He had to know that those answers were correct. And he had to have the ability to say, hey, I studied, I knew what I was doing. And that is something that enabled me to get success. I'm going to tell you, you're going to want to get an ego. Get an ego, get one fast. The easiest way to build one is to go to the gym, lift weights, and you will have an ego. But you can still feel bad about yourself. Okay, there are a lot of people in the gym who feel bad about themselves. They're huge. They're the hugest guy in the world. Okay? Not the hugest guy in the world, but they're huge. We'll just say they're the top 1%. Top 1% of gym goers. Okay? That means in a cloud of 100 of them, there's one of them. Okay? And they look around, and what they're looking at is the 0.1%. Okay? In 1,000 people, there's one of those people. And then those 0.1% people look at the 0.01% people. And that is the one guy in 10,000 people who go to the gym. And this cycle goes all the way up to the guy on the top, who's the strongest, the best, and proclaim the best above everyone else. And so he doesn't have to look at anyone. He feels good about himself. He's self-assured. He's like, I'm good, I'm great. But those other people, they can get into the trap where their ego basically leads them to say, hey, I gotta be better. And yeah, maybe you could be better. But I would say in most industries and most skills and most talents and most hobbies and most things, you won't be number one because there's so many people competing to get that number one spot that really it's going to be worth it to be in the top 1% because that means you're already better than 99 out of 100 people. Like, who cares if you're better than 9,999 people, okay? Especially in that industry, maybe you can talk your way up and really, maybe you're 1 out of 99. But since you talk better and have a better ego and self-assuredness, you're like, yeah, I got this, I can do this, I can do this. Even if you don't know, you got a fake confidence. So I'm gonna tell you, fake confidence. Act like you're confident. Act like you know what you're talking about. Act like you know what you're doing and tell people you know what you're doing, okay? And people will be like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. And if you don't, genuinely, if someone comes to you with a real question and they're like, I don't know what to do, man. What should I do about this? And it's something you don't know about. Be real. Own up to it. Don't be one of those scumbags who make something up and ruin someone's life just because you said the wrong thing and you didn't know what you were talking about. There are a lot of people in this world who don't have things right, who don't have everything figured out. And that's fine. That's fine. There's always going to be people like that. There's always going to be people who need help. There's always going to be people out there who are looking for somewhere. But an ego is what enables you to get there. So get an ego, get one fast, listen to me, go to the gym, work out, get better, and use your talents to market yourself as a better, more palatable, and better person. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.